Well, good evening, good evening. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Pro Wrestling Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the YouTube the Tube. My name is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, shout out to Ricardo, 1982, who recommended me this show, and actually a few others I've talked to have recommended not only this show, but promotion overall, and that is the pro wrestling slash MMA Great. And the weird thing about it, it's spelled G-L-E-A-T, but pronounced Great. That's right. Now, before I get into the show, which the show is actually called Great Version Mega, the most recent one. Little background of this promotion. Great. So this is not only a Japanese pro wrestling, but also a MMA promotion. And apparently it was founded by the parent company called Lidet Entertainment, which apparently used to be the parent company of Pro Wrestling Noah. Very interesting. And this is a fairly new promotion. It was founded in August of 2020. Wow, so only 3 years ago. Looks like they're about to hit their anniversary soon. Their 3-year anniversary soon. Nice. That's coming up. But yeah, founded by Hiroyuki Suzuki and Kiyoshi Tamura. And pretty much the owner is Hiroyuki Suzuki. But yeah, this promotion focuses on UWF combat sports based wrestling style. And as a matter of fact, the show that I checked out had a combination of MMA and pro wrestling matches. Even a kickboxing match. Thought was pretty interesting. But yeah, founded in August 2020. But yeah, seems to have quite a tie to Pro Wrestling Noah and DDT Pro Wrestling. Very interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, it says this promotion was founded in 2020 by former Pro Wrestling Noah parent company Lidet Entertainment after the acquisition of both Noah and DDT by Cyber Agent. Interesting. Very interesting. And of course, I am a little bit familiar with the UWF rules style, as I have caught a few matches in Stardom, like with Shuri and Konami and, a few others that have done the UWF rules type of matches. Which, has the point system. But, so, the way that it shows, it's pretty much, it's two sub-brands. So you have G Pro Wrestling and you have Lidet UWF. So G Wrestling is the, pretty much the pro wrestling brand. Lidet UWF is pretty much the UWF rules MMA type matches. So I think that's pretty neat. It kind of made me think back to, I'm sure folks remember Inokiism, when back in New Japan, a good handful of times they had MMA matches. Didn't really go too well, but I don't know. Looks like maybe this one does it right, And apparently the first event was called Great Version 0, which happened October 15th of 2020. Okay. Very nice. And the cool thing about it is they have their shows on their YouTube channel free. Like, I've actually looked through their YouTube channel a little bit, and they actually have a lot of free shows. You know, full cards and everything that you could check out. And thankfully, the one that I recently checked out is the newest one, their most recent one, that's on their YouTube channel. So I thought that was really cool. And there's a number of wrestlers contracted to GLEAT. A lot of familiar names. Like Shima's on here, which I'm familiar with Shima. El Lindemann, same thing. Kaz Hayashi. I've used to watch him a long time ago, ever since the WCW days. Michiko Miyagi, you know, formerly Cassandra Miyagi in Stardom, was part of Oedo Tai. I'm familiar with Minoru Tanaka, T-Hawk. I remember seeing T-Hawk even back, you know, as part of Strong Hearts, but I remember seeing T-Hawk back in Dragon Gate. So that's another familiar name. So yeah, there's a couple of names on this promotion that I'm familiar with, so thought that was really cool. And they, you know, have some others that compete every now and then, like Shigehiro Ire, for one, who's part of the Strong Hearts. Hartley Jackson, which I recently saw at the DDT show, the most recent DDT show. So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, there's a couple of familiar names. But yeah, so there's even been folks in the past that have wrestled for GLEAT, such as Bandito, Big Hosh, Chihiro Hashimoto, Gringo Loco, Flamita, even Commander. A lot of names on here. So even Jun Akiyama, that's another big name. So they've had quite a lot of wrestlers perform on GLEAT. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, championships. So far, they have 3 championships. So they have 2 pro wrestling ones and 1 UWF MMA related one. So the MMA UWF one is called the Lidet UWF Championship, which is contested under UWF rules. Which that was the most recent title that they made. Yeah, I believe that was their most recent title. Let's see. Oh, it was established in April of this year, actually. Okay, cool. So we got that championship. We got the G Infinity Championship, which is the tag titles, the pro wrestling tag titles. So we got that. And then we got looks like the main singles title, which is the G-Rex Championship. So, and the belts look very flashy. I will say that. These belts look pretty flashy. I mean, looking at that Lidet UWF Championship, it actually kind of reminds me a little bit of like a UFC, like an MMA title. I actually really like the design of it. I really like the design. And the tag titles look pretty cool. And even the G-Rex Championship, it looks very flashy. I will say, GLEAT has some very cool looking championships. Indeed. They got some cool looking championships. But yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. So that's pretty much a little bit of background on GLEAT. But let's actually get into the review of the show that I watched. But before we get started, here's a quick word on the sponsor for this video, Game Beauty. As you continue to watch and enjoy Blitzball Champ gaming content here on the U to the Tube, be sure you take a moment to check out the link to the description for Game Beauty. Game Beauty offers a variety of video game themed makeup and cosmetic products. They offer items such as eyeshadow palettes, elemental pearl highlighters, eyeshadow brushes, and even non-makeup items such as these graphic t-shirts. They also have collaboration items like this Persona 5 Royal Limited Edition makeup collection, as you can see here, which you can get it as a full collection, or you can get different bundles of this collection as well as different pieces separately. Also, Game Beauty offers free domestic and international shipping to most countries for orders over $60. And be sure to use the promo code blitzball_champ, all in caps, and you can get 10% off of your order. So be sure to take advantage of that nice little discount. And now, back to our regularly scheduled video. Enjoy. Okay, so the show that I checked out was called Great Version Mega, which recently took place on August 4th. And this was actually in the Ryogoku Kojikan in Tokyo, Japan. And like I said, it was free. It was on YouTube, easy access. Definitely check it out. I even ended up liking the video. There were 11 total matches, and I have to say, a lot of action. A lot of action in this show. I mean, there's plenty. Oh, so plenty of it. So let's hop right on in. So first, we started off with a tag team match. We had the team of Masato, Kamino, and Yusuke Kodama, which apparently they're part of the group Yan's Family. And they were taking on the team of JD Lee and Yuya Susumu. Now, I'm not familiar with either of these, but you know something? I really enjoyed this opening match, especially JD Lee. I love his high-flying style, very flashy. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Vikingo. Actually reminded me a little bit of him. But yeah, loved his style. This match was pretty solid. Very solid match. And yeah, I really don't have any complaints. Really don't have any complaints, but I have to say the MVP for me for this match was JD Lee, for sure. So, definitely awesome match. He actually ended up getting the victory for his team. Pinned Masato Kamino after hitting him with a shooting star press, covering him for the 1-2-3. JD Lee, Yuya Susumu, pick up the victory in the opening match. Really good stuff. And then already we switch gears to a kickboxing rules match. So we shift from pro wrestling to kickboxing, kind of like, I guess, K1. I used to watch a little bit of K1 back in the day, but it's been forever. Anyway, we had a kickboxing rules match. We had Now versus Maya Fukuda. Not familiar with any of these two ladies, but had a nice kickboxing match, which I thought was really cool. It was a nice break away from pro wrestling, even for a moment. And you know what? Thought it was really cool. Now ended up getting the victory via referee stoppage, which I believe it was in the third round. It just got to a point where Maya just kept eating punches and kicks, and then she wasn't really protecting herself to the point where the referee called it. And she had some good shots on Now as well. She was kind of bleeding a little bit from the nose middle of the match. So, you know, it was pretty back and forth. But I felt like going into the middle of the second round and then into the last round, I felt like Now pretty much had it under control. So, but good fight. Good fight. That was enjoyable. All right, next up, we had a great MMA rules match. So we switched gears to MMA. This time, we had Akihiro Gono versus Tetsuya Izuhi. I'm not familiar with either of these two, but I've been informed that Akihiro Gono is a longtime veteran in MMA. So that was something that I had to take note of. I did find it kind of interesting that he kept his guard down quite a bit. You know, kind of had his arms down as he was fighting. I mean, I don't know if that's his style or if that's usually how he fights, but I was just like, dang, dude. That was like some Anderson Silva, Israel Adesanya sort of tactics. But I guess it ended up working out for him because he ended up winning the match. Of course, he ended up winning the match by decision. So, went all 3 rounds. Akihiro Gono defeats Tetsuya Izuhi by decision. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, now we switch gears back to pro wrestling as we had ourselves a 6-man tag team match. On one side, we had the team of Masakatsu Funaki teaming up with members of Bulk Orchestra, which apparently is a stable, made up of Quiet Storm and KAZMA Sakamoto. And then the 3 of them took on the team of Issei, Onitsuka, Taka Michinoku, and Yuji Hino. Now, of course, recently, Yuji Hino I saw for the first time because he had recently lost the main DDT championship to Chris Brooks at Wrestle Peter Pan. So I did remember seeing him. Of course, Taka Michinoku is Taka Michinoku. Masakatsu Funaki was a familiar name and was a familiar face as well. I'm pretty sure I've seen him before. Anyway, this was a great match. This was a really good match. I really liked the clash between Quiet Storm and Yuji Hino. I thought that was very entertaining. Taka Michinoku was doing his thing. I always enjoy seeing him in the ring. But this was a very enjoyable match. Very hard-hitting, especially from the big, beefy guys. Just very hard-hitting. But, yeah, great match. Quiet Storm actually gets the victory for his team, pinning Issei Onitsuka after connecting with a devastating lariat. Pinning him for the 1-2-3. So, great match. Really great trios match. I enjoyed it. Okay, this next match was a match that I was looking very, very forward to. We had ourselves an 8-woman tag team match. On one side, we had the team of Dash Chisako, Kyoko Inoue, Unagi Sayaka, and Yukari Hosokawa taking on Diamond Egoist, which this is a new stable, and this was made up of the team of Aoi, Janai Kai, Risa Sera, and who I assume is the leader of this stable, Michiko Miyagi. Now, I pretty much know all of these ladies, with the exception of Yukari Hosokawa. So this was my first time seeing her, which I believe she is part of the GLEAT roster. Now, of course, Unagi Sayaka, she's mainly a freelancer. Kyoko Inoue, seen her a good handful of times, mainly in women's pro wrestling. Diana, Dash Chisako, Sendai Girls. And then with Diamond Egoist, I mean, Aoi from Just Tap Out. Janai Kai, the Kick Demon. You know, she's been pretty much a freelancer. Risa Sera, of course, prominence. Michiko Miyagi, you know, who is signed to GLEAT, but has been teaming up with Aoi quite a bit. But yeah. So, here's the thing. I love the talent that was in this match, but I felt like this match was way too short. I really truly felt like all the women could have been showcased more. I don't know if, you know, the time from the kickboxing match and the MMA match kind of like cut into that, but I really felt like this match should have been much longer. I felt like it was too short. So I was a little disappointed, just a little disappointed. But I really like this stable, Diamond Egoist, and I hope to see more of this stable. I think that's a really strong four that they have. Unfortunately, Unagi Sayaka, which her and Aoi were former friends / tag partners, Unagi Sayaka ends up picking up the victory for her team, pinning Aoi after hitting her with a sliding forearm, or, you know, a sliding D. But yeah, man, it just annoys me that Aoi is usually the one to take the pin whenever she's in a match. It's so freaking annoying. Sucks, because I love Aoi. But, like I said, I love the stable that they got in Diamond Egoist. I think that's a really good four. Aoi, Risa Sera, Janai Kai, Michiko Miyagi. And I really like Michiko Miyagi's new look. You know, we're so used to seeing her as Andres Miyagi or Cassandra Miyagi with the weird makeup and the alfalfa hair. And just the constant screaming and weird shenanigans. I mean, she was pretty much a comedy wrestler. But I really like her now, just with the new look. You see her natural face. Very pretty face, you know. You know, very natural look. You know, still pretty dark. You know, but not the crazy makeup, the crazy hair, or anything like that. I think Michiko Miyagi looks great. I love her new look. I like what they got going with the stable. And I hope to see more of Diamond Egoist. Not just in GLEAT, but around the world. You know what I mean? So I definitely like what they got going there. For sure. But yeah, my only complaint really was I wish the match was longer. It should have been much longer. Alright. Next match. This was another really good one. This was a 10-man tag match. So pretty loaded. We had the team of... It was a stable called Black Generation International. And the five guys were... I'm so sorry. This was an 8-man tag. I can't count. That's why math is my worst subject. This was an 8-man tag. So, Black Generation International made up of Hartley Jackson, Keiichi Sato, Kotaro Suzuki, and Yutani, taking on the team of Jack Cartwheel, Junjie, Kento Miyahara, and Shigehiro Ire. Now, of course, like I said, I remember seeing Hartley Jackson back at the DDT show. I do remember hearing the name Kotaro Suzuki, so that was another familiar face. Jack Cartwheel, recently, a while back, saw him compete in AEW. I also believe ROH as well, so another familiar name. Kento Miyahara, pretty much the ace of All Japan Pro Wrestling, some may say. And Shigehiro Ire, Strong Hearts, has competed in DDT. He's gotten his feet wet quite a bit. But I really enjoyed this match. This was a very action-packed match. It was good to see Jack Cartwheel do his thing. All the tricky, high-flying, flippy stuff. Always good to see him do that. Kento Miyahara being his silly self never gets old. Hartley Jackson, very, very strong in this match. But yeah, this was a very action-packed match. I really enjoyed the talent showcased in this match. Hartley Jackson ends up picking up the victory for Black Generation International as he pins Junjay after hitting him with a devastating Falcon Arrow. I mean, just made the whole ring shake. But great match. Felt like it could have been a little longer as well, but I liked it for what it was. Okay, next up, we had a very interesting match. I've never seen this in a tag team form, but we had a UWF Rules tag team match. This was very interesting. So, you had the team of Fujita Hayato, who is actually currently the Lidet UWF champion, teamed up with Yu Izuka, taking on the team of Minoru Suzuki and Shinya Aoki. Now remember, this is UWF Rules. It has the 5-point system, which knockdowns, rope breaks are pretty much you use a point. But you can still win by knockout or submission instantly. So, UWF rules, very, very specific type of rules. But anyway, Fujita Hayato and Yu Izuka, their team was off to a really strong start. I mean, started off 5 points for them, 5 points for the other team, and they got about middle of the way, and Minoru Suzuki, Shinya Aoki's, used up 3 points. So, Fujita Hayato and Yu Izuka had quite the momentum throughout most of the match. And the thing is, you could tag your partner in at pretty much at any time, which I thought put a very interesting element to this style of match. You know what I mean? So, I thought that was really interesting. But, while they were 2 points away from victory, Minoru Suzuki was able to turn the tide around as he was able to lock in a sleeper hold on Yu Izuka and keep it on there long enough to make him tap out. And when you get the submission, it's an automatic win. Therefore, Minoru Suzuki, Shinya Aoki end up picking up the victory. Despite being down 5-2, submission victory, won the match for him instantly. So, hey, that's why the rule is there. You can still win by knockout or submission. That's still legit. So, great showcase there. Okay, next up, we had one of 2 title matches for the show. So, good to see some championship matches. So, this was for the G Infinity Championship, which is the tag titles of GLEAT. You had the champions made up of a team called the Voodoo Murders, which are the Saito brothers, Jun Saito and Rei Saito, and they defended against Bulk Orchestra's Galindo Del Mal and Ryuichi Kawakami. Now, I'm not familiar with either of these 2 teams, but this was a very entertaining match. And I have to say, the Saito brothers looked like they were in control for the most part, but I really liked Galindo Del Mal. He was a masked wrestler. I thought he was really, really cool. But yeah, this was a very hard-hitting, action-packed title match. And, for me, seeing my first championship match in GLEAT, this one definitely delivered in a big way. And the champs were able to retain as Rei Saito pins Ryuichi Kawakami after hitting the diving splash off the top rope, pinning him for the 1-2-3. The Voodoo Murders, Rei Saito, Jun Saito, still your G Infinity champions. So, great match. Great tag team title match. Definitely enjoyed it. Okay, this next match was a match that I definitely enjoyed as well. We had a trios match. Nice little trios match. So, we had the team of the Kolikants, made up of Minoru Tanaka, Shima, and Kaz Hayashi, taking on the team of Atsuki Aoyagi, Hiromu Takahashi, and Jun Tonsho. Now, of course, familiar with Hiromu Takahashi from LIJ, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Atsuki Aoyagi, if I remember correctly, he is from All Japan Pro Wrestling. I do recognize the name. I think I remember seeing him at Cyber Fight Festival. No. He participated at the All Together show with All Japan Pro Wrestling, Noah, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I do remember. I knew I had seen him wrestle recently. Of course, Minoru Tanaka, familiar with. Haven't seen him in a long while, but familiar with. Kaz Hayashi, like I said, I've seen Kaz Hayashi ever since the WCW days, so he's a very familiar face. He's put on some weight, too. And Shima, definitely one of my favorites back in the Dragon Gate days. I've seen him wrestle live when they came to Burlington, North Carolina. So Shima, that's my guy. Whoo! So this was a very entertaining match. I love the talent that was in this match. This was my first taste of Jun Tonsho as well. So it was really hard to pick a side. It was really, really hard to pick a side because there was some sweet, awesome talent on both teams. And, it's just back and forth. And I know Shima's getting older, and he's still in great condition. Still in really great condition. But speaking of Shima, he actually ends up picking up the victory for his team, pinning Jun Tonsho after hitting him with a Meteora. Great match. Overall, very great match. And it was just really cool to see the talent in this trios match. I really enjoyed it. All right, and then we had our second championship match. This was in the form of the G-Rex Championship. And this was actually one of my favorite matches of this card. So the champion, T-Hawk, like I said, familiar name that I've known back in the Dragon Gate days, defending the title against somebody named Hayato Tamura. Not familiar with, but my goodness, this match delivered in an excellent way. Went back and forth, hard hitting, and honestly, Hayato threw a lot of offense at T-Hawk, and honestly, I thought he was going to pull it off because he jacked him up. But they really traded a lot of offense between each other. It was legit back and forth. Both had momentum traded and throughout this match. But when it was all said and done, T-Hawk was able to eventually put away Hayato Tamura, hits him with a Night Ride, and covers him for the 1-2-3. And T-Hawk is still your G-Rex champion. So, both champions, both title matches, the champions retained. But really good matches. Really good matches. And then to close out the show, we had a very special elimination tag match. So this here was the 10-man elimination tag team match. So on one team, you had Czech Shimatani, El Lindemann, Kaito Ishida, Soma Watanabe, and Takanori Ito, taking on the team of Daisuke Sekimoto, Hagane Shino, Kota Ibushi, Shuji Ishikawa, and Yumihito Inari. Now, to be honest with you, the only folks in this match that I know of are El Lindemann, um, Daisuke Sekimoto, Hagane Shino, who's competed in AEW quite a number of times, and Kota Ibushi, of course. It's the Golden Star. Quite a crazy match. The action was non-stop as expected, in a 10-man elimination tag team match. But the action was non-stop. Shout out to Kota Ibushi doing the fancy balcony moonsault. Thought that was really cool. He doesn't look as ripped as he used to be, but Kota Ibushi can still do Kota Ibushi stuff. So, something to keep in mind. So anyway, here is the order of eliminations. I'm gonna just go through how everything went. So first off, Soma Watanabe got the first elimination, pinning Yumehito Imanari. So Yumehito Imanari was eliminated first, and then both Takanori Ito and Kaito Ishida eliminate Hagane Shino over the top rope, which you can get eliminations by pinfall, submission, or throw your opponent over the top rope. Okay, so that elimination happened. Then Daisuke Sekimoto ended up pinning Takanori Ito. And then Kota Ibushi ends up getting a submission elimination over Check Shimatani. Had him locked into a single leg crab. He did have him in a Boston crab, and he kept getting slapped, but Kota still wasn't phased, and he eventually switched to a single leg crab to get the finish tap out before continuing on. Alright, and then at the same time, both Daisuke Sakamoto and Soma Watanabe were both eliminated over the top rope at the same time. And then Shuji Ishikawa ended up pinning and eliminating El Lindemann, which was kind of a bummer. I like El Lindemann. And then Kaito Ishida rolls up Shuji Ishikawa with a roll-up pin. So the final two came down to Kota Ibushi and Kaito Ishida. And of course they went back and forth for a good long while. Kota Ibushi, tried to put him away with a Kamigoye to the back of the head. That didn't work. Tried a Golden Star Powerbomb. That didn't work because he kicked out. But eventually it took a Kamigoye to the face, a regular Kamigoye from Kota Ibushi to Kaito Ishida. Pins him for the 1, 2, 3. And Kota Ibushi is your survivor of this elimination, this 10-man elimination tag match. But yeah, Kota Ibushi. So that means the team of Kota Ibushi, Hagane Shino, Daisuke Sekimoto, Shuji Ishikawa, and Yumehito Imanari are your winners of this elimination match. So, and that was your final match of the card. And I gotta admit, y'all, this was an excellent show. I really liked the combination of pro wrestling matches. Throw in a kickboxing match, an MMA rules match, a UWF rules match. I thought that was pretty neat. You had a few title matches. You had 2 title matches in there as well. A big card. I mean, there were 11 matches. But you know what? I felt like they did a really good job with this show. I love the presentation. The overall presentation of the show was awesome. I loved how this was on YouTube for free. I recommend y'all check it out for free on their YouTube. So definitely check them out. But yeah, enjoyed this show from start to finish, and I ended up subscribing to GLEAT. So yeah, looking forward to checking out more of their future shows. I think this is a promotion that I could probably see myself attempting to keep up with. But hey, we'll see. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. Don't forget to check out the link to Game Beauty. And also, let me know what your thoughts are. Did y'all check out the recent Great Version Mega Show? Let me know what you think of the show. What you think of the matches? What matches did you enjoy? Let me know what your thoughts are. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. For another Pro Wrestling Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube, my name is Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed rest of their evening, and I will see y'all in the next video. Take care. Peace.